And it's like, how is a kid growing up who's looking at different options with their career, how are they going to fall in love with the roofing industry, right, if they can't see it? They need to be able to see it. We are so far behind other industries, right? There's so much money. This is a $100 billion industry, right? So it's like, you got to advertise that and put it out there. You got to show the lifestyle. You got to motivate others. That's what it's all about. Spread the word.
What's up, everybody? We have an incredible episode in front of us at the Blue Collar Boardroom. Special guest here. Look, if I was talking to my younger self at 22 years old, what would I say to myself? Full of talent, full of sales ability. I had the world by the balls. And here I am sitting with a guy. And our next speaker, Kyle, man, he came a long way. He's the founder and CEO of Affordable Home Solutions out of D.C., Maryland, Virginia. He's born in Waldorf, Maryland. 6 years of experience in roofing, nominated fastest growing company in Maryland. He speaks on stage nationwide with Bill Walsh, and this year he did $12 million in his first year as owner. And he was a sales rep. He has an incredible story. He was facing hard time, and he's going to talk about what it means to truly come back and reform, and has donated tens of thousands of dollars to charities to support the homeless in D.C. Look, man, welcome to the Blue Collar Boardroom, Kyle.
What's up, Lee?
Kyle, man, and we got your man Nick here.
How you doing, Lee? Appreciate you.
Nick, you've been here for the whole journey, huh?
Yeah, man. Kyle and me go pretty far back, ever since the very beginning. You know, we were working together in the past when we had our previous experience, and then transitioning into running our own company. You know, I saw him completely transform. So it was really cool to see him go from being not only the top salesman in our whole area, but to become one of the biggest and best entrepreneurs in our whole area as well, and just the continuous, stride, camaraderie, and family that he's brought together.
That's a heck of a testament. When Hammer first told me about you, he was like, dude, this is like something I've never seen. A 22-year-old kid, 40 guys, did 8 figures in his first year. He's an up-and-comer. I'm like, that sounds like some crazy stats. And then my dad went and hung out with you. Yeah. He's like, man, these kids are special. And so, it's funny when my dad recognizes that kind of special, you must have something. Then you come here, I meet you, and I'm like, dude, you are dynamic. You have the ability to recruit, to sell. This story that you're about to hear is a testament that you can change everything around in a moment's notice. And so I want you to make sure and subscribe, comment any questions below, because we're going to talk about the 3 most important things that any young entrepreneur needs to do to get rich in this business fast. This man's done $5 million in profit in his career. And so, Kyle, we're going to ask you some tough questions,
Sure.
Tell us about where it all started. Like, when did you first know that you were a salesman, or when did you start to know that you were an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I want to start off first by thanking you for having us on the show. It's an absolute pleasure. And I've been looking at your content, your videos, and, you're so inspirational in the roofing space. So thank you so much for having us on the show, first and foremost.
Yeah, thank you.
But definitely, I was a natural-born salesman, and I'm a strong believer that anybody can become a salesman. Everyone has it in them, but I've always been a salesman, for sure. I used to skip class, even in, elementary school, middle school. I used to bullshit the principal to get out of it, so always been a salesman.
Nice. So do you remember the first time you were able to make your first door-to-door sale?
Yeah, for sure. So the first time I ever went out canvassing, I was actually with a group of guys that were really good, and I just kind of watched them do their thing, went up to the door, and I got shit on. And I actually love it. Failure is the first step to success. You got to fail if you want to succeed. So with that being said, the first time at the door, the guy's like, look, I don't even know if I have insurance. I don't know what you're trying to sell me. And it's like, I didn't really understand the whole industry, but I'm like, look, I can get you a new roof from what I've been told. I'm riding around with my manager here. He's the absolute guru. He will get you approved no matter what. Just let us get up there for an inspection. So that's kind of where I started. And the first day, I didn't get anything. I actually didn't become really successful in roofing sales door to door until about 30 days in. So it's all about having that dedication, the commitment, pushing forward in sales. In any industry involving sales, everyone should know that for sure. Believing in yourself and having a vision. Because at the end of the day, you may not see results immediately, right? And that sure didn't happen to me. I had to stick through it. I had to keep pushing. 30 days into it, I got really successful and it became my niche.
some of these guys that watch this, I mean, some of the older generation might complain about millennials or Generation Ys about their work ethic.
Sure.
Where do you get the drive? I mean,
the drive comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get your drive from an external source. It has to come from an internal source, right? So it's like literally when you're by yourself in your room when you first wake up in the morning, right? You should have that drive. When you first wake up, there should be a fire in your soul to go out there and be successful. At the end of the day, a lot of people base their vision and their dream around materialistic things, right? It's like, I want to make a lot of money so I can get the chicks or the fast car, this and that. It's like with me, I want to basically grow my company and change the world, help other people. That's what I'm all about. At the end of the day, a business is about servicing others and adding value to other people's lives. So don't think about your business about how you can affect yourself. It's about how you can affect others and add value. That's what it's all about.
Love that. So, we were talking a little bit at dinner last night. You were sharing me some of the hardest moments in your life.
Yeah.
So
came a long way.
Can you tell us a little bit about that story? Can you start from the scratch, like right where things got really hard?
Yeah. So I've been through a lot of trials and tribulations for sure, and I feel like everyone has their own challenges in life.
Where'd you grow up?
So I was born and raised in D.C. Waldorf, Maryland, actually is where I'm from. So with that being said, Waldorf is like 30 minutes south of D.C. So DMV is what they call it. There's its own little culture there, its own little vibe. So it's actually D.C., Maryland, Virginia. And I live in D.C. again now. So it's an awesome place to live. A lot of influential people, a lot of money in the area, great opportunity. So from where I came from, I was kind of a sad kid, right? And I came from a broken home. By the age of 13, I was on my own, right? So from 13 to 17, bouncing around house to house, sleeping on friends' couches and stuff like that. I didn't have any direction or vision, right?
You had to grow up quick.
Yeah, definitely. So no direction, no vision, and the people that I looked up to, they were just they're not happy with themselves and they just weren't successful. I thought that flashy flash was where it's at, but it's really, people that are genuinely happy with their lives. And, they have very successful careers and they impact others in a positive way. And that's the people I look up to now, right? And you being one of them included. But yeah, definitely a lot of trials and tribulations. And when I turned 17, I had a life-changing experience. I was involved in some things I shouldn't have been involved with. I was facing possibly legal punishment for, what I was doing. And I was faced with a hard decision. Basically I had a trial coming up. And the only way that I could prove, that my life had changed to get out of the situation was to literally change my life, right? And it's like going back to what I said earlier, I've always been a salesman. So with that being said, I thought I was just going to bullshit my way through it. And then what I came to find out was living a healthy and productive life actually does make you happy, right? So I came from a very unhappy place, right? And then I started to apply the things that the people around me always told me would work, right? Get up early in the morning.
Tell them the link that you were facing.
I was facing 20 years in federal prison.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So some serious charges for sure. And I definitely don't blame young people who get in that situation because everyone has to grow up. And people make mistakes. And that's what it was for me. It was a huge mistake, but it actually turned out to be one of the biggest and most impactful things in my life. It changed my whole situation. So right before the trial, I had 6 months to prepare. So I was waking up every morning at 5, 6 a.m. I was doing 100 push-ups as soon as I woke up. I was working a construction job. And then when I would get off, I would go out and knock on doors. Because the people that I saw making the most money around me were getting involved in the roofing space. It was a huge industry that had just started popping off in the DMV. We had a really big storm when I started. And that's really what kind of set things off. We had 120 mile per hour wind come through Maryland. And literally, even if you didn't know anything about roofing, you would drive around and see shingles in the street.
Nice.
Yeah. Every house had missing shingles.
It's literally blood in the streets.
Yeah. So, the thing is with me is like a lot of people say that I'm like naturally lucky or like, had a destiny. But the thing is like I always manifested it. I wanted to be successful. I surrounded myself with successful people and I kind of pushed myself. And, every day I wouldn't let kind of, speed bumps in my life get a hold of me. So you got to be motivated and have a vision. And you got to understand that failure is a part of the journey. Everyone deals with it. You'll never meet a successful entrepreneur that hasn't failed. In fact, I would never want to work with someone that hasn't failed before.
Amen. And, as you were changing your life, miraculously things all worked itself out. How did that happen?
Yeah. So literally, I just started working my butt off, knocking on doors, and I got really, really, really good at it. And what happened was I was able to show that I had really changed my life. And, with that being
roofing.
said, there was also a little thing that happened where, there was some evidence that was misplaced. So I did get a lucky break there, but I don't think that was by chance. I think that God was looking out for me.
Absolutely, brother. You deserve
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
It's your fate. And I know I haven't ever told anybody this story, but I feel that it's appropriate. Most of the time I don't interrupt the flow. But
Sure.
I have a very similar story. When I was 18 years old, I went off to college, smoked weed, had a lot of fun. But I knew kind of wanted to be a roofer, so there's no reason for me to go to college. And I didn't last that long. It was about 6 months before I failed out. And at this time period, I was on probation to be because I got caught with some weed in high school. And, I almost didn't graduate because the last 6 weeks I was fucking up because of being a dumbass kid. And just like you're saying, I could have been into any kind of circumstance like you're talking about. But I can remember looking at my probation officer and saying, yeah, I failed the piss test. It's weed. Everybody smokes weed. What do you mean?
Yeah.
But he's like, you idiot, you're on probation. And so because I hadn't reported, they put me in handcuffs and then said they revoked my probation. And my dad came into the room. You met my dad. He starts crying, and he starts basically selling them on letting me fucking not go to jail. And I had to go to AA meetings. I had to change my life around. I had to be sober. My dad said, hey, if you want in the fucking business, dude, you're going to do this shit. He actually went to the AA meetings with me. He got, he was cool, sober, chill. And so whenever I was 18 to 21, when I turned 21, I was like, fuck this. I'm going to have a few drinks.
Yeah.
But I got sober, and I didn't smoke weed. I didn't drink. And
Congrats.
But ever since then, it's been a fun ride. No, I'm just kidding. But
sobriety is awesome. I'm 5 years sober now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Nice. So it's been life-changing for me.
Nice.
And I've replaced all that those external sources with internal sources, right? Like going to the gym, right? Positive affirmations, surrounding yourself with people that motivate you. And the best high in life is being successful and knowing that you can impact other people's lives and seeing that change, right? And a lot of people, what happens is they don't see that change quick enough, right? But what they have to understand is it's a long journey. Some people take 20 years to be successful. But then when you finally get it, when you finally get success, right, it's the happiest feeling in the world. Yeah,
so we're going to get into that. I mean, these guys are roofing salespeople, owners, and the sales guys, they want to know, what's your number one tip for these guys?
Well, I have 3 tips.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 tips.
Okay, go ahead. Number 1.
Sure. So kind of long points here, but the biggest thing is I've studied businesses, right? I'm working with one of the biggest business coaches. His name is Bill Walsh. And, we've been doing a lot of training together. We've been speaking nationwide at different conferences and different events. So we're specialized in helping all businesses grow in 10X. And there's a lot of mistakes that business owners make. I'm not sure if you know this, but 85% of small businesses go out of business within the first 2 years.
Yep.
So with that being said, one of the biggest things, if you look at big companies like Walmart, CVS, what stands them apart from their competition? In the roofing space, what's the biggest company that stands out? There's not one, right? Because we all do the same shit, right? So the key is finding stuff that separates you from your competition. Mm-hmm. So if you go online, you try to buy an iPhone, or you go to Walmart online, or Amazon even, right? You can buy 5 seconds. With the roofing company, what do? You call them out. They got to give you an estimate. They got to measure the roof. He's got to get back to the office. They got to prepare an estimate. He's got to review it with his manager. Then they got to set an appointment to come back. Too complicated, right? The biggest roofing company in the country, right, in the next 5 years, they're going to automate everything online through technology to where people can buy in 5 seconds, right? And that's where we're moving to. So with the use of technology like Zoom, drones, and stuff like that, automation, basically what happens is you'll have an easier, simpler customer experience. It's all about the customer, right? At the base of the business, you have to kind of sit in the customer's shoes and try to understand what it's like for them, right? And most people now, this day and age, it's they're used to being able to get instant access. Oh, I want a pair of shoes, buy it. I want movie tickets, buy it. I want to stream TV, buy it, right? I want to watch porn, go online.
Right.
With that being said, how easy is it to buy a roof nowadays?
That's easy.
It's pretty complicated, actually.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that could buy a roof same day?
No, it's tough.
Yeah, exactly. They got to check their credit score. They got to apply for financing, this and that. So we want to automate the process to be as simple as possible, and that's what's really going to get us to boom nationwide.
Love
right?
that.
through marketing partners too, that's how you expand. So it's like you'll never be able to accomplish anything on your own. You got to work with people like Leehaight here, right, who's changing the roofing industry. The other thing is too is like education has become the best marketing source. So it's like your videos online, I love them, right? What happens is you train and educate people, and then they look up to you, right? I'm sure you get a lot of people who want to work for you after watching those too, right? So being motivational, putting yourself online. How many influential roofing companies are online on YouTube right now? There's this guy, Dmitry Lipinski.
Petrie. Leginski.
Okay. I've seen him around.
Okay.
Then there's you, right?
Yeah.
There's Hammer. And there's like a couple other guys, the roof sales strategist. What's the other one? Becca Swinzer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's only like a handful of people that are really influential online. And it's like, how is a kid growing up who's looking at different options with their career, how are they going to fall in love with the roofing industry, right, if they can't see it? They need to be able to see it. We are so far behind other industries, right? There's so much money. This is $100 billion industry, right? So it's like you got to advertise that and put it out there. You got to show the lifestyle. You got to motivate others. That's what it's all about. Spread the word.
So let me jump in there. So that's one of the things we talked about at dinner last night. I talked to owners all over the country, right? And one of the biggest things and the things they struggle with is, how do I get sales guys? Where do I find them? And I'm like, listen, if this kid's in Maryland, he's 22 years old and he's got 40 guys, he's doing something right. And I think what the industry's moved towards is influencers, showing them the lifestyle. These younger generation guys, they'll work for you, but you got to show them something different than they haven't seen. And they learn differently. They don't learn coming sitting behind a brown desk and a cup of coffee. They learn virtually. They learn using the platform, the technology. And that's what's moving everything. And I've seen you with your team, and your guys' energy is insane. I mean, if guys had half of your energy, they would be filling their rooms and filling up their Zoom calls. And that's one of the things I want to give you really credit for, Kyle, is since the day I met you, man, your energy hasn't changed. I mean, when Kyle walks in the room, guys, the room knows he's there. I don't care where it's at. In the restaurant yesterday, we're in a 5-star restaurant, Naples, like, let's go, we're ready. And that's the type of fire it takes, because if you want to light someone's fire, they got to see the energy burning inside you, and they're going to follow that energy. And a lot of these guys that are like Redbox Blockbuster are dying don't have it. And so if they don't have it, they need to find that energy again, and they will explode. That's my opinion.
Hey, so how do y'all use technology to build culture or to create energy? What do you do to kind of do that? I mean...
Yeah. So have you heard of Sales Rabbit?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Rilla?
Yeah.
So Rilla, basically, that's one of the best technologies that I've started using and implementing in my team. So what that does, it actually records each salesman's pitch at the door,
Nice.
and then it analyzes it using AI technology and compares it to some of the leading sales reps. And then it actually marks everybody on a leaderboard who sold the most today, who pitched the best today, who's talking the longest, who's talking the shortest, what kind of tone are they using when they're speaking, right? What kind of word phrases are they using? Because there's strong phrases and there's weak phrases, right? So example of a weak phrase, can I do an inspection? No. Example of a strong phrase, I'm going to grab my ladder and we're going to do an inspection, right? So it's all about how you phrase it at the door. And it's like with sales training, why it's been so slow is because it's not automated, right? A lot of people are doing sink or swim. So they get thrown out there in the field.
Yep.
And then what happens is basically they have to learn it on their own. When I started, literally, they gave me a stack of flyers. Remember what I said? I had to go to the door. I didn't know what the fuck I was selling. I just knew I can get you a free roof, right? That's terrible. And how many people are turned off by the industry because they are thrown into a sink or swim environment, right? And they can't be successful. So you have to create a culture, right, that uplifts other people and holds other people in your team accountable, right? And then through the use of technology like Rilla, right, you hold people to a certain standard, right? You can see in real time how many people are talking, how many people aren't talking, right? And it basically breaks down the conversation, and it says, look, this is what the top sales rep is saying, and this is how they overcome those objections. The biggest thing, too, as well, is that, with our mobile software, it's called Mobex. It's like you can literally get opted into a group chat, and you can speak at live conferences and bring thousands of people in and share that technology with them, right? So it's like, imagine if I went to a live sales event and I sent everyone a link and they got to see our Rilla account and literally hear how we're talking at the door. It makes it seem super simple and accomplishable by anyone, because they're like, wow, he's got 40 guys all doing this. They're all successful. They're talking to 100 people a day, right? So then it pushes them to be successful. And the other thing, too, is like what Hammer was saying, touching base on that. If you're not the loudest guy in the room sometimes, what happens is people can't hear you. And it's like with us, we're trying to make a big impact. And it's like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but like sometimes I go out to the club literally just to pull up in a nice car and just to buy a couple bottles and just pass it around the room, right? And like if I'm at a strip club, sometimes I pull out cash and just hand it to random people in the room with my business card, right? Because the biggest thing too is like if you're that big shot in the club or on the scene, chances are you're a dick. You know what I mean? Nobody can reach you and talk to you. Hey, can I get a picture? No, fuck off. No, you can't be that guy. Yeah, sure, you can get a picture, right? If you take my business card, lock me in, man. What are you doing for work right now? What are you doing right now? How much money are you making right now? You see this car, you see this lifestyle, come get a piece. Because the thing is like, with how simple it is to sell a roof sometimes in a storm damaged environment, almost anybody can do it. So with that being said, it's like you want to recruit as many people as possible and give them the opportunity and the chance. Even if they don't seem like salesmen up front, right? A lot of people will grow into it. And different personality types tend to kind of, develop differently, and they all work effectively in different environments. So you have to have a diverse team that's all trying different things, right? And it's like I got shy guys, like some guys are kind of nerdier. Then I got like more fast-paced guys. You got to be a diverse team to conquer different environments in different neighborhoods. So here's the thing. If I go up to your door and you don't like me, right, and nobody else comes from my company, what happens? I just lost the sale. The thing is, you have to understand in the world, not everyone's going to like you, right? I could have a great pitch. Lee just doesn't like me. Lee may love Nick, right? Hit him from different angles. Not just door knocking, though, marketing, right? Do everything you can to get in the customer's face. So there's a lot of sales statistics out there that show actually that about 75% of people don't buy upon first contact. No matter how good your closing rate, the average ratio, 75% of people do not buy upon first contact. Most people actually buy between the 5th and the 12th contact. Yep. So you have to constantly remind them, put those yard signs out, put those flyers out, keep coming back, keep coming back. It's all about the follow-up and the persistence.
All right, let me get back to the story because everybody loves all that. But let's
Sure.
get to the hard part of growth, because in growth cycles, you grow your business, then it breaks. You redesign a solution, then you come back. You believe in those cycles?
Yeah, of course.
And sometimes you got to go backwards to go forwards?
Of course.
So as you went from salesperson to company that did $12 million in sales, where were those points where you went backwards, and what did you do to overcome them?
Yeah, so I had to completely redesign my life and my way of thinking because I went from a great sales rep to a great leader. And there's a huge difference.
What did you have to change first?
What did I have to change? How I treated people, how I saw other people, and I had to really analyze the whole process from start to finish, right? I came from a sales background. Now I'm managing supplements. Now I'm managing production, right? I have to oversee all aspects of the business. It took a lot of training. Like my first year, I know it sounds like we did great, right? But that year was one of the hardest for me ever. I mean, I'm working 15-hour days, pulling my hair out of my head, trying to figure out how I can make this happen. But I just kept pushing because I knew at the end the result was going to be well worth it. So in the aspect of ways that I had to move backwards, sometimes people get complacent. So what I did is, sometimes you literally have to put yourselves in positions to where you feel like you're just starting off. So it's like sometimes I would go in the field with the new guys and just knock on doors all day. Sorry, it's like I got a lot of responsibilities, but it's like you got to put yourselves in positions because you have to analyze every aspect. It's like, how are the salesmen doing, right? What are the challenges that they're facing? What are the challenges that the homeowners are facing? Like, you have to see the whole big picture.
So one of the things I've seen about you, one thing I've seen about you though, Kyle, that's different than a lot of the older energy. He gave me an awesome book, Dan Rooney, right? Fly into the Wind, Force Multiply. It takes a lot for an owner to ask for help. And one of the things that we've done since our relationship is I put you in front of a lot of people and you are open to suggestions. You're open to how to grow, how to get bigger. You're listening to Lee and you're taking that in. I think a lot of owners' egos get in the way of that, and that's why they can't force multiply. But what's one of the things I've seen in you, in the eye of the tigers, you're learning from this, you're learning from that, you're learning from that, and then not only that, you're taking it and passing it on to guys that are absorbing that energy, and your team's growing at a pace that people can't even understand.
Yeah.
Nick,
yeah.
what along this journey, what did you do to get you involved? How did you get involved?
Yeah, so it's a crazy story. So
Here, talk into
basically,
that thing.
it's a crazy story. So basically, I was in the automotive and welding industry before this, and basically, I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I wanted to be, financially free and independent and be able to live the life that I wanted to live. But I didn't quite know how, and I was trying to chase all these different avenues that weren't quite working out. And, me and Dotson have been friends for quite a long time, and he introduced me to Kyle. And first day I met him, like you guys have met him. Anybody who meets him knows, once you get that energy, it's very infectious. So much so, I literally quit my job the same day I met him.
What was your biggest fear?
My biggest fear was my parents' approval, honestly, because I lived with my parents at the time, and they're pretty, they make good money. They work for the government in the DMV, so, they're pretty well off, and they really wanted that structured lifestyle. They wanted that easy, safe route, And when I met Kyle, I always had that big dream and the big ambition inside. I just didn't know how to apply it or a route that I could take. And when I met him, I saw how successful he was and how great he was doing, and I knew that I wanted a piece of it, and that I loved his energy, loved his vibe, so it was just the perfect fit. So like I said, I quit, and basically once I quit my other job, I would just show up at his house at 7 a.m. every day, man.
Yeah.
Literally Monday through Saturday. 7 a.m., whether I'm driving, he's driving, we would be working while the other one's driving, planning the day out, sniping stuff on Google Maps, and learning and growing together. And like he said, the failure was a really big part of it because, like, say your closing ratio is 10% when you start out. You knock 100 doors, you got to get 90 no's to get those 10,
Yeah.
But each one, he says it all the time, attitude plus effort. Those are the two biggest things. So when I first started, attitude was kind of an issue for me. It was really easy to get discouraged. But Kyle, obviously, he's the man with that, So he helped me get through a lot of those issues, and I opened up a lot more as a person, and it helped me, succeed in the sales world. And, going from the manual labor lifestyle to this, where you get to, work with your brain and help people out. That's a big thing for us. We love helping people out too.
And get paid what you're worth, because if you do good work with your hands, you don't always get paid.
100%. You're working 10 times harder than the guy next to you because he's just there for his 8 hours and he's gone.
Right.
Where you're an overachiever. You're always putting out your best of your best, but doesn't mean you're going to get taken care of.
I know.
Where, like I said, when we started working, man, we would literally go out 7 a.m. until pitch black darkness and then drive an hour home.
So how long have you been doing this?
About 3 years now, 3.5 years.
And what's your role now? Are you leading people?
Yeah, so I manage a team at Affordable. We have about 10 guys, and they're producing anywhere from 15 to almost 30 a week some weeks. So
nice.
Yeah, really good. And we've only been doing it for a year, and in the beginning, obviously there was a lot of stress on Kyle and just everybody who was a part of the original team, because we were all learning so much so quickly and having to adapt and change not just our mentality but our whole lifestyle.
How much money have you made?
I've made, over $500,000, close,
In 3 years?
I'm just talking with Affordable. Over the 3 years, close to $1 million almost.
How old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
You got to create a culture where your salesman can make millions of dollars. If you don't do that, you'll never be successful, right? Because it's like the way to get wealthy is make other people rich. And it's also very important when you're hiring people, let them know. Don't sell them a fake dream. Yeah. Let them know it's going to take a lot of work. You're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to be dedicated. But if you can do that, you will be successful in the roofing industry.
Yeah,
it's
a
proven.
Lifestyle,
it's
but
proven.
It's a great
so
one.
12 million in growth in 1 year is a lot. Things start to break. Systems. Was it production management that was hardest?
Cash flow.
Okay,
Yeah.
Talk to me. Let's talk through that. What happened?
Yeah, so when I started off, I had a little over $500,000 saved up in the bank.
Strong young men.
Yeah, for sure. Not as much as what I would like.
He was
right?
the best salesman in the DMV. No joke.
Yeah,
DMV,
definitely.
King of the DMV.
Yeah. So I actually in the first 3 months of the business, that $500,000 vanished. Because what happened is I didn't understand how the cash flow worked in the business, and also with my age, right? No credit. Nobody's going to give you a line of credit, right? You got to pay for the material up front. You got to pay the roofers every Friday, right? You got to pay the salesmen bonuses. I had to pay people to come work for me. Sometimes you got to do that. Hey, man, I understand you got 6 months worth of hard work and commission you're waiting on. Take this leap of faith. I'll give you $10,000, $20,000 up front to come and work, as long as you sign a non-compete. Yeah, so with that being said, it's really important to create that culture and don't give them false expectations. Let them know, look, you're going to get 9 no's before yes, but understand you should be excited about the no's because after every no, you're closer to your yes, right? You have to understand, look, here's your closing ratio, so you have to get through all the no's to get to a yes. So after every no, what happens is a lot of salesmen will go to the next door. Oh, well, she just told me no next door, but do you want to do it? That's terrible. So have you ever seen Finding Nemo with Dora? How she's like constantly like forgetting and then yeah. So that's like me at the door, right? If somebody said no to me, I go to the next door. We just sold your neighbor right down the street. Yeah. For sure.
Keep that same attitude. You know?
Hey, you told me you did one thing to fix some of that cash flow. What was it?
One thing I did to fix cash flow. Yeah, you have to have an honest conversation with your salesman. Look, get as much money as you can from the homeowners up front.
It's a true story.
Yeah. Look, build that trust with the homeowner, right? They got a $30,000 check up front, and they want to give you 10 grand. Sir, your roof is that 30,000 is a deposit. It's going to cost 30 grand to install your roof. We need that 30 grand, right? Be honest and transparent with your customers as well as your salesmen, right? You have to be honest in business, and it's like people appreciate what you're doing. If you sit down with your clients and you give them realistic expectations and you let them know, look, as a business owner, this is how much it costs to do your roof, right? I got 25 of these going on every week, right? So with that being said, look how much cash I have to dish out on every customer if they don't want to pay me the full deposit up front.
Man, I tell you what, one of the things that we would benefit from is going through the basics, the fundamentals of what we do to accept a job, to build it, to make sure that there's no holes in your ship.
Yeah.
But that being said, where do you think those holes in your ship exist if you're going to 20 million next year?
Yeah. So the biggest thing about the roofing space right now is it's attracting a lot of institutional investors. So right now I have a couple big names backing me. So it's like they see the vision and they see the growth, right? So it's like we have a lot of capital flow coming in right now. So we're doing really good. We actually became profitable around the end of last year after literally imagine spending $150,000 a week to run a roofing company every single week. It's $500,000 a month, right? And if you don't got that, you're going to go broke. And everyone around you is like, yeah, we just sold fucking 20 roofs this week. We sold 40 roofs this week. And then you're like, yeah, let's do it. And then you go back in your office and you cry because you're like, oh my God, I'm fucked. How am I going to make payroll? And it's like, look, I'm not embarrassed. I mean, it's an honest conversation you have to have. It's like when you get into business, if you want to grow, and you don't have that capital up front, it sucks. But I pushed through it. I pulled together every dime I had, right? Sell every piece of designer clothes. Sell your fucking car, whatever it takes. Invest in the business.
I'll be honest with you. Kids are probably not as good at collection, and salesmen are not good at collection. As a kid, I wasn't good at collection. As a kid, 22, 25, I was terrible. Had just all kinds of different egregious errors throughout my life in collections and quality and customer service, what it comes down to. Irresponsibility is what it was. But, how to take control of that, if you have a team, is a challenge, and it can be chaos as you scale another 10 million on top of what you've already done.
Sure.
So, the biggest thing is sometimes to be more deliberate, to have the systems. If I'm talking to my younger self, I would say, listen, sometimes passionate could be talked about as crazy. And if you basically, if the troops are following a leader that is never afraid in war, then those troops are destined for death. So you got to be careful a little bit. And you're 22. Take your time. Don't think you have to have it all right now. And think about it as you set rules in place, and if you follow the rules, you'll have freedom, like what Jocko's talking about. And here's some of the rules. Don't accept a job without first check. You're doing that. Get as much money up front. Great. But when you intake a job, it's very specific. You got to make sure that the contract's right. Has all the pictures, that there's material and labor orders that are correct, but also that all the other trades are identified, that there's a sales price for all the other trades, that there's work orders for the other trades. And then it's like, okay, we have an acceptable project. It's been put into the CRM the correct way. It has all the documents. And this is the place where most people fail. They don't pre-cap the jobs correctly. The jobs become up a little bit less profitable. They don't put all the other trades in. Then the salesperson goes to collect, or you go to collect after the salesperson leaves. The owner says, he said that he was going to do my gutters, window screens, and deck and cover my deductible. So I'm not paying you this until you do that. And so then you get into this world where you got to deliver invoicing, statement of completion, have back-end supplementing, and control it. Because outsourcing it to third parties, what I've found is it's hard to rely on an estimate being done in 48 hours and follow up every 3 days. As long as someone I know and can prove that every time I ask for an estimate for a supplement, it's done in 48 hours and that it's followed up on every 3 days, then at least I have peace of mind. But sometimes you hire these people you don't know, these third parties, unless you control it yourself. And then also with collections, once you do massive volume, I have a complete collections department. So one of the things that I need to do is show you, and it's Friday, we got to get over there before it gets too late, but they're in there hustling like a sales team just to keep up with my money.
How do you pay them? Is it commission based or is it?
They're paid a base and they're given incentive for volume numbers. But to be honest with you, they're one of the biggest values in my business, and they work hard for more than just tons of money, really. And now I'm teaching them how to sell the people that are in supplement the retail, how to upsell people that don't have solar. And those are going to be opportunities for them to earn fat commissions. And they do make some money from collections in bonuses to volume, but not like the salespeople, not even close. And so I have a team full of people that really, all of them, work for less than about 52 grand, a lot less a piece. And they are collecting between, $1.7 million a week. And just to keep up with it, but they have to follow up on the depreciation, follow up on the supplements, follow up on the customers. And that's why I transitioned to solar insurance retail is so important. And so y'all are building a hybrid company. I want to hear about your transition to solar.
Yeah, first off, I do want to say that the best investment I ever made was there's this guy named Reginald Daniels. I paid for his Exactimate training, right? Now he has a team, and we do in-house supplementing. So it's like guys are paying 10, 12% on a supplement, and it sometimes takes 6 months. Yeah. I have a guy in-house that gets paid a weekly salary, and he'll close out 20 to 50 supplements a week, right? So it's like I empowered him by giving him a salary, giving him a great compensation plan, and I paid for his Exactimate training. Mm-hmm. Set him up, bought him the computer, paid for Exactimate, best investment I ever made.
Yeah. Now, I have one of those guys, Kyle, he's a magician, but it's duplicating him as you scale, training the 3 different roles. And I have a supplement department in Orlando, and those roles are caller of the insurance company to get adjusters on the phones to follow up on things, estimators to do estimates, and negotiators. It's 3 roles. And
what's the name of your supplement company?
It's Sky Diamond supplement.
Okay,
but I mean, we're not out there advertising it.
Yeah. So, in the past, I was working with Contractor Supplement Solutions. I heard they're out of Florida.
Oh yeah. How did they do?
Terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that
terrible.
sucks.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
No, it wasn't you.
No. The thing is that like they have a lot of volume.
Yeah.
So it's like for us, it was terrible because the turnaround wasn't fast.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I couldn't outsource my deals to people like that.
And who wants to pay $10,000 for a supplement? Fuck that.
But here's the deal. If you're going to scale and you're going to do Storm and you're going to get to the places where Kyle's got to 12 to 10, 20 million, you better build your own internal supplement department or pay those prices. And that being said, it sounds like you're doing all these things right, man. And I think that, we talked about a lot of tips, but did we cover all your 3 tips?
Yeah, so I have a couple more. So it's like you also have to implement sales quotas too, as well as
I like that.
Complacency is a big thing in the industry. So it's like you should never be scared to fire someone if they get complacent. Mm-hmm. Seriously, it's like a cancer in business is having someone who used to be really successful, and then everyone else sees them start to slow down, and all they do every week is collect fat checks. That's a cancer on this business, and it's plagued the roofing industry for too long. Right? Mm-hmm. It's like what's stopping people from really taking it to a $1 billion company, right? I don't think there's any $1 billion roofing companies, but there's $1 billion solar companies. How? Because they scale at huge teams, right? But like with roofing, it's really easy. And if you do roofing and solar, I really believe in the next 5 years, someone's going to step up. I'd like it to be me. I believe it's you as well. That's going to turn their roofing company to a $1 billion company.
We can do it together. In the Roofing Professionals Network, you can build your brand in your area. And not only that, this is what this is all about. It's collaborate to dominate.
Yep. Yeah.
And, you talk about institutional investors. It's not just doing $1 billion. It's being worth $1 billion cash.
Yeah.
And that means hundreds of thousands of customers a year, and that's going to mean disruption through technology. You talk with my dad, you heard his master plan, I'm sure. But thing is, dude, I've been hearing
Great
that since I was a kid, and I've been executing it one step at a time. And we want somebody like you to learn, to add to the system. I think one of the things that I picked up from dinner was a pitch that you used, and it was just a little variation. Do you remember what you were talking about?
Yeah. So
what was that?
So it's like at the door. And this goes back to like really servicing our customers.
I like
right?
this. I like this a lot.
The biggest thing is like, don't worry about the money. Worry about having a really efficient and simple solution for clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they can buy really quick and have a really enjoyable experience and they don't have a lot of hassle, you will become a huge company. Everything else will come next, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with us, it's like we don't go to the door and pitch like, hey, I get you a roof. Hey, I get you solar. We only pitch assessments.
Nice.
It's like, hey, look, the HOA and us have teamed up to provide everyone an assessment in this area. Not getting a roof inspection can cost you thousands. So many people are like, it's a free inspection. It's a free inspection. Don't say that.
I love that.
It's a complimentary inspection. Don't use the word free. You're
Right.
selling yourself short.
They devalue free.
Exactly. It's a complimentary assessment, right? And with that being said, just ask them, how much does it cost to not get this assessment? I'm here right now. It takes 5 minutes, but it could cost you $10,000, $20,000 out of pocket if you don't get this assessment. If you don't want it, it's fine. We got 50 other people in the neighborhood. But with drone technology, that's the biggest thing too. How many homeowners are scared to get someone on their roof because they think it's going to get damaged by the contractor?
Probably a lot.
Contractor man-made damage is huge, and the insurance companies are tightening up because of it. So how we solve that problem, there's a company called RoofHawk, and they're implementing AI technology in drones.
Yeah.
So it's like literally if we can fly drones above whole neighborhoods and partner up with HOAs, right, we can keep up the property value and help people restore their properties and get their insurance claims approved without even getting on the roof. This drone is completely non-biased. So many people think, oh, well, you're arguing with the insurance to make a bunch of money. The insurance company's arguing with you because they don't want to pay out a bunch of money. No, it's like, let's make this non-biased, right? Let's use AI technology to fly a drone up there. So what it does is when the drone flies up, it literally circles where all the damage is, and it gets a 50-page assessment packet within 5 minutes. Imagine how much you can grow when you get a 50-page assessment packet in 5 minutes. How many inspections can you do a day? Versus the old-fashioned way. Let me get Nick, help me with that ladder.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get the cougar paws on. Get up there, looking for damage. The drone can tell you if it has damage in 5 minutes. If it doesn't have damage, it's not worth it.
All right, so now I'm going to bust your balls a little bit.
All right.
Sure.
So whenever I was 22, I was always about more money, more sales, more technology, more good, right? And as I grew my business, that continued. All right, more recruits, it's called offense, basically offense versus defense. You can sell, you can build and collect. I'm always focused on offense. If you build the right team, you can fill the holes, you can get the right people in the right place. But I didn't do something very important to my business. I didn't have a clear mission statement, core values, market leader positioning, and I didn't have that dialed in, and it really, really affected me as I grew. So what are your core values?
Yeah. So a lot of roofing company owners are doing a disservice to their teams. We don't have a lot of strong leadership. So with that being said, I've partnered up with Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh helps any type of business. So before you really think about scaling a roofing company, you have to be a leader in business. You have to know what you're doing, right? So it's like if you don't have a 5-year business plan as a roofing company owner, you've already failed. If you can't tell me right now what's your goal for the year, how many sales do you need to get there a week, how many a day do you need to get, you've already failed. Walmart knows their sales numbers in 5 seconds, right? Every store around the country, how much are they selling right now, right? If you have a blind eye and you don't know what's going on in your own company, right? What are we doing this week? Did we hit our quota? Did we hit our goal?
Now I'm busting your balls. So
Sure.
I didn't have core values. I didn't have them clearly. I thought they were corny. I thought they were like, for instance, like things like integrity and excellence are assumed in business. They're in my core values. I give definitions of them, but having courage, like in the face, I can tell that's one of your adversities, high energy. One of the mine's speed. Like money's attracted to speed. Do everything with speed. But one of yours is probably high energy, and I should add that. But
Speed for sure. You ran circles around me at the beach today.
hey, you got up and worked out. I admire you. You're up before me at 6:30. You got a lot of energy. One of mine that we added this year, though, this is a really good one, is an example. Okay, it's called Protect the House, and it's sort of like in the game. All right, you aren't a snitch when you tell your boss that someone else is trying to rip you off, when someone's trying to steal from you, when people are not believing in your plan, when maybe what you're saying is too egotistical, you're yelling and people are afraid to come to you. They come to you with things. Anyways, the bottom line is that for me as a leader, there's no such thing as bad teams, only bad leaders. Sometimes I've held my team back from growth. I've always been the thing that's held my team back from growth. So when the sky's the limit, it's okay. Everyone's job description is important. It's what is not tolerated, what is expected, what's the key number, but also like one of the things that we talk about is this protect the house thing. And how are you protecting the house? Because if we're not hitting our sales goals and you're not doing what we need to be doing in the recruiting, in the lead generation, or that's also tied into the same thing where, hey, you got to tell on that guy who's doing a side job. Hey, you got to tell about the guy who's planning on quitting and trying to take 3 sales guys with him. Hey, and beyond that, it's not that we have to do anything except for exit the right way, because once there becomes a disagreement or an exit or drama or beef or whatever, it's not like in the other world where you have to follow rules and then people bash you, and then even when you follow rules, they bash you online. So you got to keep your side of the street clean, and you got to be 100%. Plus, you can leave yourself open for lawsuits if you don't have the right documentation. And so,
by the way, Legally Mine is a great attorney. He helps contractors across the nation set up your LLC correctly so that you can never, ever, ever get sued for anything.
He's one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Shout out to that guy, Mick Neff.
No,
he's an awesome guy.
No, I think that whenever I sat down and me and my dad were butting heads, me and my managers were butting heads, people were in that almost mutinous state, and it was because I was making it all about me, not about them, because they weren't clear on a lot of things. They weren't clear on the money. They weren't clear on their expectations. They weren't clear on my vision. They weren't clear on what I stood for, where we were going, how I was going to get there. And since then, I met with this guy, helped me a lot, but I started learning these Rockefeller habits. And one of them is my team. It's hard, bro, but I do with all my managers a call every day. And it's something where on Zoom, everybody comes in, each department head, and then we go through each department. They are supposed to leave that call and direct their department based on what I say. And then through each week, there's department calls. But the point is, I never had that level of communication in my business. And also, we get together whether you decide to do this quarterly, half year, whatever, take your managers away. Take them to a place, and not just about partying. It's about, okay, where's the conflict at? Where is the jealousy, resentment, overhanded, underhanded politics? Dude, it starts. People start. It's called the success syndrome. Kobe and Shaq, who's responsible for the fucking success? It happens. This is where the culture issues happen. Everything's fun. Everything's great. But that's why I almost say the basics are so important where you're at right now. And I'm excited to go through that. People don't know me as that guy, but I have failed whenever I only focused on sales and recruiting and leads over some of the basics of business that are what Bill would be able to teach, but specifically in roofing when it comes to a business plan to $1 billion. You know, the cool thing is like you can just look at mine and then make it better, and you will do that.
Yeah. So with Bill, it's like he's been fundamental to helping me with my success in like business management. But like with you and your training program, like the tips I've learned about marketing has been insane. Mm-hmm. And, another thing is I really appreciate how humble you are. A lot of people, especially like a lot of your competition, right? Mm-hmm. Not going to say any names, right? Have huge egos. And it's like you can't even talk to them one-on-one because they think they're the biggest guy in town, whatever it is, right? And it's like the moment you stop listening as a leader and you have closed ears, you should retire right then and there, right? If any of my sales guys come up to me and say, hey, I have a problem, I think you should start doing this, I hear them out. Why not? Mm-hmm. Sales guys who help me run the business, right? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be a business without sales guys. So it's like a lot of people have huge egos. And it's like as the owner of the company, try to stay as humble as possible.
Have you read Jocko's book?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, I loved it.
The Jocko stuff is very simple. Cover and move. Keep your instructions simple. Prioritize and execute. I know you prioritize recruiting. You prioritize these things. I think prioritizing some of the systems, meetings, communications, core values, some of that basic stuff is going to really, really preserve the good culture that you've built and make it better. But I think the stuff that Jocko talks about where it's like decentralized command, prioritize, execute, keep your instructions simple. Cover and move is where your team is supposed to basically help each other out. Like, for instance, it's always like office versus field, accounting versus sales, supplement versus sales guy. And that's one of the things you have to look for is you got to get people covered for each other.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like another thing that I really focus on too is like you have to have great compensation plans for the people who work for you.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing is how I've been able to grow and scale a team is because I'm very transparent in my business, right? Like at the end of the day when someone gets paid a commission, they literally get to see all the expenses laid out. And it's like we have to be on the same page. Look, this is my overhead. This is how much the material costs. This is how much the labor costs. This is the profit of the job. Here's your commission.
And Job Nimbus helps you do that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Job Nimbus is awesome. Shout out to them. They're great.
Crucial.
So with that being said, being transparent in business is a huge thing. Nobody's going to want to work for you if they see you make a bunch of money and then it's like you got 3 or 4 books for the numbers. And 90% of these roofing companies out there have these fake books that they show you when you get paid. And actually, I was working for another big roofing company. And when I started my own company, the reason I left is because they were being funny with the money, which isn't uncommon in the roofing industry. And I learned, I'm like, wow, like what a waste of talent because they had a bunch of reps and they were doing really good, but they could never grow past that because the owner just got greedy.
Yeah.
And I mean, the partner in the company, his name.
Chances are you stop working.
Yeah. So the partner,
I mean, listen, if you're not growing, you're dying.
don't have the nicest truck in the parking lot.
Or if you do, be the hardest worker, be the first one there, dude. I'm okay with having the nicest truck in the parking lot. Everyone in my business knows that I've written emails, posted, done fucking meetings, ran 3 miles, worked out, fucking going work till dark, going work 7. They know that what's on my shoulders, and I don't think anyone in the company thinks they work harder than me.
Put our life into it.
Yeah. And it's like feed your guys the Wagyu and you eat cheese and crackers as the owner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't overindulge in the lifestyle. And it's like you got to keep your eye on the prize, like the big picture, right? If you start buying all these super nice cars and then I would love to get a pad in Miami and just move down there and retire, right? When I have a bunch of money, but it's like I have a big goal and it's like I want to help more people. I'm not done yet.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah. So we have a 5-year business plan to get to $1 billion. So our goal this year is about 30 to 40 million, and we're on track to do that for sure. 3 months ago, I met this guy, Mike Martinez, the Hammer.
What's up?
And this guy has been a huge networker. You know, he actually is who introduced me to Lee. He put me on with another great company. Fahad taught me how to sell solar. Shout out to that guy too. He's awesome. So solar's been something that's new in my business, and solar's really taken off. I personally love it. When I'm out there in the field, like 60% of my sales is solar. Like if I see an old roof, great insurance, and then once it's approved through insurance, try to finance, wrap in solar, all that, right? But it's like now I have the ability to target new roofs. And when it's a new roof, it's like, great, solar. You know, do you need new windows? Also, do you need insulation and all that stuff? What other industry can you literally ask somebody if they want to throw insulation, windows, and a new AC system, a new AC unit, all into the loan
It's
for like
crazy.
an extra $50 a month?
You were just talking about that's the majority of your deals here recently, right?
Yeah, literally a lot of the homes around us have like very inefficient, old, outdated HVAC systems, like oil burners, all that. And we partner with the HVAC company and bring them in and let them, consistently get fed off of us because
Then you trade referrals, you're getting
100%.
on jobs.
And the best part is the $1 million Rolodex that we built up in the roofing industry because all the people that we did last year doing the roofs, as soon as we learned the solar, all those people who loved, trust us, gave us referrals, call them right up. And then you have $1 million, $10 million worth of sales right there just off of old homeowners who already love you, trust you, everything because we helped them out with the roof so much, I
got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So one of the things you said that was unique yesterday, and I'm still trying to process it. One of the things that you said that was really unique is that you force your managers to find their own recruits, fill the room only once a month, and if they have 10 guys and the other manager only has 1, that's too bad for the other manager. What brought you guys to that? What made you do that? And are you finding success where your managers are competing and they want to find more guys? How's that work?
Yeah, so
it's really unique.
Yeah, so going back to like great compensation plans and making people see the vision. Like if you sit around at your company meeting, right, and you handed a microphone to every sales guy and you said, "What's the vision for the company? Where do you see this company in 5 years?" If everyone does not say the same exact thing, if you don't have your vision on the wall in your office, you're doing it wrong. everyone needs to share the same vision. And the sales managers need to understand that the vision is recruiting and growing and growing and growing. We create a culture where we are constantly, I literally walking down the street, if I see somebody that looks like he's got a good head on his shoulders, or even I hire girls too now.
Finally, we got girls.
Yeah, I found that girl canvassers are killing it.
Girl salespeople, bro. They can.
Yeah, I'm hiring
women, girls.
Yep.
Women.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm younger, so the girls that I'm hiring are like all in their 20s, and women, for sure.
We have a girl that's already sold $2 million this year.
Cool.
And she's 35, so with kids.
Does that create competition with the managers? Is what I'm asking. Do you feel it's a good culture?
Naturally, like there's always competition. Competition is really healthy. Yeah. You can't if you have an environment that doesn't strive off competition, then it's like you're not gonna be able to push yourselves to grow. And it's like with me, it's like reaching out to the Hammer, right, and like getting involved in a great network of like some of the most influential contractors in the country has really helped me grow and scale, because it's like when you're the biggest guy in your hometown, right, it's like it's actually depressing. Like I don't want to deal with that. I want to have a network. You have to have at least 5 people that you talk to every month that are 10 times where you're at in life. Right?
I love that.
And it's like you got to talk to him at least once a month. Yeah. Maybe if it's only for 10 minutes, but it's like a couple influential people in my life that I really look up to would be you, Hammer, it would be Bill, it would be Fahad. Yeah. So
Nick, my question is,
that's more.
And
my dad too.
Great job, bro.
Nick, let me ask you this question. So you being his manager,
your dad's number one.
When you bring in 9 guys and one of the other managers only brings in 2, do you feel that forces that manager to want to bring in more?
It definitely, I think, drives them and
shows
unique. Them what's possible, because, say in their head, they know what they're capable of, right? And they compare themselves to you, and they think, I can do what he's doing easy, Yeah. And then you come in and you set that new standard, that new bar, then their eyes open, they aim higher, And the thing is since we built such like a tight-knit family in the way that everything is, everybody is competitive, but at the same time wants everybody to be as successful as they can possibly be as a person.
There's a difference between being competitive and being arrogant.
Yeah,
so
100%.
It's like in the workplace, I would never ever let a manager go to another manager and be like, "What the fuck did you do this week?" Blah 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 blah. No.
Good.
We uplift each other and we help and support. There's a big difference between being competitive and being arrogant in the roofing space.
Dude, we watched yesterday. I had a manager call me and he was talking to all the recruits, and he was saying, "Are you willing to knock doors? Are you willing to work on commission?" And I'm like, "Bro, don't do them like that. Don't do the negativity with it, and get them to the Zoom call." And I'm talking them through it, and I'm saying, "Hey, I know you're trying to weed them out. I know you don't want the weaklings. That's okay. We'll get the weaklings out. Don't worry. But we do it in a different way." And Mike's like, "Tell them the boiler room pitch. Tell them the boiler room pitch."
Yeah.
The recruiting.
True.
And so I send the link. And inside that boiler room pitch, I don't know if you know how it starts.
Oh yeah.
But he fires the guy.
Yeah, we know.
Before he ever gets started. We don't talk to our people like that. Get out the room.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I got a text back from Tree today, and he goes, "That was fucking awesome. Now I have to watch the whole movie."
Well, yeah. I'll give you a better one. So it's all about perception. So walk into the room when you're doing a group interview. Throw the first guy out, have somebody else meet him in the hallway and say, "Look, man, actually, we threw you out because you got the job." It's not, you don't actually have to let somebody go. It's all about perception. So as long as you create that image, that's all that counts. And the other thing, too, is like with my hiring, the way that I motivate people, I don't say, "You can make money. No, that's not how I do it. I sit down with someone, I'm like, "Look, what's your goals and your dreams in life? Like, do you want to be successful?" And then people always have like that dream inside. I want a fast car. I want a hot girlfriend. A lot of young guys, unfortunately, that's what they're thinking about. But I try to pull their head out of the gutters.
Look,
think about establishing long-term wealth
to create character, like you said.
Yeah, but like no matter what their passion is, you got to let them know. Look, that's a great dream. This industry can get you there, man. You know what I mean? So it's like, and the other thing too is like you constantly have to reassess their dreams and their vision and their goals, right? Goal setting is extremely important in a recruiting environment.
Yeah.
So it's like the first thing I do, besides asking what their dreams and their goals are, I sit down and make a plan with them. Okay, what do we have to do to get there? The thing is, like, so many people have big dreams and big visions, but they don't have a clear path to how to get there. And that's a huge mistake in the roofing industry or in any industry in general. So it's like you have to have a breakdown of like, okay, look, you want to make $1 million. You can do that. right? But don't focus on the number. Focus on how many clients you have to serve to get there, and let's break that down to a daily and a weekly quota. And as long as you're hitting that, don't worry about making $1 million. Just worry about selling 5 roofs a week, and as long as you can do that, you're going to make $1 million. So break it down and make it simpler.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
And really, whenever I'm doing a presentation, we use some of the same similar words. I say, at first, that the first secret is there's no better way to earn like a doctor or lawyer without a college degree than roofing and solar
100%.
sales. No better way. And then
And you're not debt.
then I start going over the proof of our industry and how beautiful it is. And then I go into, hey, all you need is a good attitude and a good work ethic. And I give examples of shy people that were from different walks of life that you think wouldn't be good at door to door. And it shows that guy sitting in the room that doesn't think he wants to go door to door, he might be willing to go door to door. And then the third thing I say is exactly what you say. It's you have to make their fears of how they're going to get paid real. And the only way you can do it is got to give them a roadmap. You got to give them a path.
Yeah.
And then you got to call them to action with the offer they can't refuse, which is, I like to do this. We generate the best leads. We give the best training. We give Rolexes to our guys when we hit certain numbers. We take badass trips on our sales contests. And we're going to be the Chick-fil-A of roofing. And so we're trying to create the most blue-collar millionaires. This ain't for everybody. But if you want to be a part of this, then come on up.
I want to say something to that. Guys, a lot of times the guy in the room that you think is going to be the best is the worst. The guy that you think that's going to be the worst becomes the best. I mean, you never know. You never know, so don't assume.
Well, I'll tell you one. There's
book.
A guy in this
right
exact
now.
seat, Ricky Southers. Never thought that guy. He had no door knocking.
No.
He did no insurance. He was in New Hampshire. He showed up with kind of a little he very good communicator, but he was soft spoken, a little shy. And we did a podcast. He had 1 salesman. Okay. The next year, following my system, he had 8.7 million, 10 fucking salesmen, no door knocking, no insurance, just retail. All of them through the video ad leads. This year, he had 18 fucking million. $18 million. Never would have expected this man to be the most coachable. Never would expect my system to work without storms, without door to door. But it does. And you just don't know. You don't know it when you're recruiting. You don't know it when you're coaching. You don't know it when you don't ever know.
Yeah, look, guys, it's not about your race. It's not about your age. It's not about what you look like, right? It's about what's within. Mm-hmm. That's a huge thing. It's like if you find someone who's passionate, right? It's like give them a shot.
All right, I'm about to give you a shot.
Cool.
All right, so here's the
guys. Wait, before we do that, if you like Kyle, you think he's got some energy, let's give him some hearts.
Hey guys,
let's give him some likes.
Guys, comment below.
This kid's 22
years old.
We're gonna drop our Instagram, social media, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
definitely.
And more importantly, guys,
you need to.
You're gonna see him at the Cage and the Stage. He's all about fighting for the American dream. And
one of our big sponsors. He's a big sponsor.
Sponsoring Fight Night. Just to get the contribution to the Folds of Honor. Really, coming from DC, I mean, you've been to that grave site with all the people that have paid their price. It's the
I live right across from the Arlington Cemetery and the Pentagon.
Yeah, I thought.
Is that what you're talking about, the Arlington Cemetery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're donating to Folds of Honor, and
cool.
That's $180 million in scholarships that's gone to families who've paid the ultimate price.
Sweet.
And so, what I would say is, man, maybe you should do a little training, man. Maybe sign yourself up for a little fight.
Yeah.
Do a little first day practice.
Or just fight the insurance companies.
Yeah. I'm always down for a challenge.
I'm always fucking with people trying to get them into the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely down to fight.
We saw you on the beach.
I would actually challenge someone my age
with no training.
Who thinks that they're comparable to what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And I would be ecstatic if someone steps up and then
nice. We got a blue collar fight club challenge for
and then
anyone out there, Austin Chastain,
or door knocking
25 years old, 25 years old that thinks that they're gonna ball out and be the first to be the freaking 8-figure don of roofing, with $10 million in your pocket from earnings and net worth. I mean, you maybe by 25 do it quicker than me, bro.
Maybe a door knocking battle, Mike Grimkiss.
Listen. Tell me what you're pumped up about my event. Like, you've seen it. You've been to some other events. I'm going to tell you. It's going to be unlike anything you ever had.
Yeah, I'm pumped up about your event because you're such a humble leader. It's like everyone who comes there is just going to have such good energy versus like some of these other events where it's just like a bunch of wishy-washy guys who bullshit on their numbers. Yeah. And it's like, man, it really discourages me when it's like people get the spotlight and it's all bullshit. You know what I mean? And it's just for promotion.
It discouraged me for a long time.
Yeah.
That's why I challenged the bitch to a fight, but he backed out.
I've seen you at the events.
What?
We won't get into the details.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, but I've seen you at the events where you were at we had Win This From that one year. What were you saying? You were like, I think you spoke up and you shout out something.
I don't fucking know, dude. Here's the deal. I got kicked out of there.
Oh, well, actually,
The only reason I got let back because Hammer closed my dad on a $50K deal, and I was like, "What the fuck did you do, Dad? You gave Anthony $50K?"
Yeah.
But you know what? That was synchronicity. Is that what's called synchronicity?
Then you packed your bags and got your ass out of there.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Anthony's program. It's like hate it or love it. You can get value from different sources.
Absolutely.
Everyone has different stuff to offer.
Absolutely.
So it's like Anthony's a cool guy. He's not my cup of tea per se, just because of his ego. But you gotta love and respect what he's done in the industry. Right?
Hey, you listen. I definitely respect.
Yeah, I met Hammer through Anthony, so that's a good thing.
Exactly.
And then I met you. So,
but the reality is, I've had that chip on my shoulder for a long time.
Sure.
And there's no lying inside the ring. There's no hiding inside the ring, and so I enjoy the truth of that. And so,
well, here's the thing: people like you and Anthony shouldn't compete.
We ain't competing.
You guys should come together.
We ain't competing.
Imagine if you both held an event together.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, look, why be divided? We need to unite as contractors in the industry. We need to empower the next generation, right?
Well, he did. He did.
We did collaborate.
He did collaborate. And
we went to his event.
Fell apart.
Yeah, we did more business. We did a whole lot of business, and then he left, and then they didn't want to come to our party.
No, that's on him.
That's what happened every time. That's why I got kicked out last time. I did too much business.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, if you're not running a good business, then it's like the moment your competition steps in the room, you're going to lose everything. So, but if you're running a good business, you shouldn't worry about competition. You should actually appreciate and welcome competition.
That's what I love about you.
It creates exposure.
Coming into this group, you are going to improve the mastermind. You're going to challenge the young guys, the older guys, me. Doesn't matter. Everyone's got their strengths and superpowers, and everyone brings something very valuable. And
Anthony's got a great partner named Fahad. That guy is the man. If you want to learn how to sell solar, there's two big guys in the industry.
Sky Diamond Solar is
your guy
Fahad.
David and Fahad. Super influential in the solar space.
I'm gonna take a recruiting nugget from you. We got a good sign-on bonus over here when you're ready.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not locked in to work with anyone specifically. I would actually rather work with as many people as I can. But I want to work with people, right, who have a similar energy and have a similar vision.
Yeah,
for sure.
Too.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man.
If Anthony doesn't want to do $1 billion, then I don't want to work with Anthony.
Well, here's the deal, guys. We are all here to run our own race.
Yeah.
All right. Make our own impact. Leave our own legacy. And
run the race with people that want to run it with you instead of carrying them to the finish line.
There you go.
That's one of the things I read in Flying to the Wind. If you're surrounding yourself with people that aren't building you up and pushing you, then you need to eliminate those people. And he told me to read the book. I read the book, and it's made major, major changes in my life. And understanding the pressure underneath the wings is what lifts you up.
Having a guy like Hammer call you every morning at like 5:30, 6 a.m. and he's like jogging on the beach and he's like, "What's up, Kyle? You ready to kill it today?" I mean, that's awesome. Yeah. I need that in my life. Yeah.
I love that.
Anybody who doesn't have a great networker, right? And it's like if your roofing company is isolated, if you're watching this video, right, and you're not coming to these events, you're not networking, and you feel like you have a story to share, Hammer is the guy to get your story out there. I mean, none of this would be possible without him pushing me out there. This guy literally grabbed me by the shirt when he knew Jordan Belfort was like one of my biggest. He threw me into Jordan Belfort through a whole crowd. Come on, Kyle, come on, pushed me into him. But I bumped into Jordan Belfort. He turns around. I only had a split second to make a first impression. Hey, how's it going? My name is Kyle Dotson with Affordable Home Solutions. We're running a huge operation out of the DMV. I would love for you to come by, see our operation, see what you can offer as far as value, help train some salesmen, man. I love you. I look up to you. And it's just like we hit it off. I got his phone number, and we've been talking ever since. That's a cool guy, too. I like Jordan. Yeah. But Hammer's the network.
Huge influence, too, on me.
Greg Cardone's cool, too. Yeah. That's your guy, right?
I mean, listen, to be honest with you, Ed Milet, he's my favorite sales guy. He's the most authentic, genuine dude I know. Plus, he's actually dude's legit. Grant, role model of mine. I follow in his footsteps. I'm a lot like him. However, there's a lot different about me, and I'm gonna do things a little differently than how Uncle G does it. But Andy Frisella is a big influence on me, and one of the ones you don't know, I mean, maybe you do now, is Russell Brunson.
Okay.
Awesome.
He doesn't cuss, smoke, drink, but he's cool as shit, and he's helped me make a fuck ton of money. And Jordan's helped my sales process because I teach. The way he teaches closing is a very simple and easy way to teach closing, and I teach the straight line persuasion system inside of my 5 Eyes of the Blue Collar Close. Cool. So I would have to say, if you were to ask, like, what are you a combination of, man? I'm sort of a combination of all of them. So
yeah,
and I grew up in roofing, so I've been doing this shit, bro, for fucking 18 years.
Yeah, I'm like a combination of like Charlie Sheen, Kanye West, and Jordan Belfort.
I love that shit, bro. Love that shit, guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
so comment below, man.
Yeah,
guys, should we do an event in the DMV? Should Sky Diamonds go on tour? A solar boot camp? A door-to-door challenge?
Young and
National
Rich.
Roofing League sell-off?
Oh, yeah.
Who's
Yep.
going to challenge Young and Rich in the ring, in the sell-off, in the DMV? We want to know. Comment
we're going to
below.
be at the Blue Collar Millionaire event, so stay up to date with us. Follow us. We're going to drop our social media handle below, and you can feel free to reach out to me too. Is it cool if I drop my personal number in there too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me for any inspiration, sales training, stuff like that. I'm working closely with Lee now, working with Hammer, so definitely keep up to date with what we got going on, because in the next 5 years, I think working together, we're going to be one of the biggest and most influential companies in the nation. And with everything you've done, shout out to you, man. It's been amazing hearing your story too, right? I feel like we can really escalate what we've done a lot faster. So super happy to work with you, man. Super appreciative that you put me on the show here and heard my story. Hell yeah, man.
It was
Lee,
great.
Hammer, thank you guys.
Hey, thanks for coming in
Thank
here,
you,
guys.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.